Hi, Samantha here with the Quarterly Book Club. Why quarterly? Because you're busy and books are long. I will be joined by only one guest tonight, unfortunately, but fortunately it is our good friend Nathan, who also does our intro and outro music. We're going to be talking about the Bad-ass Librarians of Timbuktu. My friend's child is very sick, so she's not able to make it. He may be contagious, so we hope the best in health and well wishes for her youngling. So we'll get her on another time. It's all good. And also, you might notice I have a different friend with me here today. Litterberry is temporarily misplaced. I've been packing up, moving stuff around my house, and she accidentally got packed up. So we have a true literary star with us today. This is Go Dog Go from the Dr. Seuss classic, Go Dog Go, which is one of my all-time favorites as a kid. So my mommy got me this, so hello. And summer is over. It is now fall. I'm wearing my pumpkin spice latte shirt, and I don't care if you call me basic. That is perfectly fine with me, looking at you, modern geek. So let's get to it. We're going to talk about the Bad-ass Librarians of Timbuktu by Joshua Hammer. Enjoy. Friend who was supposed to be here today was she had a struggle getting through it. Mm-hmm. So don't feel bad.
Okay.
Well, and I've told you guys
Well,
before.
the funniest thing was trying to call the library and be like, I need a book. What is it? Like, not because I feel bad saying the title to other people. It's like and I'm in bell choir at church. And these old, they're like, "What are you doing today?" And I'm like, "Well, I got to work, till 5, and then I got a book club meeting." Like, "Oh my God, I do book club! Oh my God, Nathan, I tell you what, why are you this? Why?" And 15 minutes later, we get to the point. Like, "What are you reading?" And I have to say the Bad-ass Librarians, like in church. I'm like, "It's the Bad-ass Librarians of Timbuktu." I'm like, "What?" It's called the Bad-ass Librarians.
Oh, that's okay. I was trying to explain to my grandmother. The book, "The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck." And she is like,
what's the book? Is that the next one?
That's the title of the book. No. It's one that I read last year, and I was trying to tell her about it. So I know how you feel, needing to say that to someone. But actually, I brought this book up to a friend of mine that I worked with, an older gentleman, and he's also a pastor. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I felt kind of bad. I was like, oh, I'm cursing at a pastor. And he was like, oh, my wife read that book.
But, the writing of the title, like, you don't...
It's so cool. Like, hold up the book to the camera.
Are we recording? I kind of hope so.
We are.
Angle it?
Because the lights can bounce down.
Oh, okay.
So, hi, everybody.
We were rambling, but it's okay. It's for science. It's okay.
For science. I'm Sam, and here with Nathan. You'll notice that there's only one guest with me today. It's because
we had to make cuts.
Oh, we just didn't make it.
Not absolutely at all.
Literally cuts. I had to chop her head off. It was very sad. It took a few whacks. No, but my friend Melissa, love you. There's a bone right there. Love her very much. Her son is sick, so all the love and well wishes goes out to baby G. So
she could have said to baby Jesus.
Little baby Jesus. No, baby G for Gavin. So hopefully he feels better. He's pretty contagious, so she didn't want to bring that here with us. So I appreciate it.
With everything going around, that's quite okay.
Ohio's kind of a sickly state at the moment.
Well, like the whole hand, foot, and mouth thing, I really I hear about it, but I don't ever hear about like too many cases. And I know Columbus Public alone has, I believe, 37 to 40 cases as of last week of kids out with it. And it's not, terrible. kids and then adults.
It transfers to adults because kids are...
Yeah. It's just like pink eye. It's like, I don't think I have pink eye, but
Let me touch everything.
Yeah.
I had pink eye one time, and it was when I was in the Navy. And you know, when you're
I think that was herpes.
on a ship,
I think you got herpes.
I got eye herpes. But you know, you're living on a ship, and like, you know, you're out to sea, and you're in racks that are like they're bunks at
Thanks
3
for explaining
high.
how the Navy works.
And you're very
so the Navy is the
welcome.
water one.
Yes, Navy is the water one.
Navy is water.
Navy is
Okay.
water. Air
Yeah.
Force
You're
is
good.
ground. And anyway.
Army is space.
Yes. Well, Space Force coming to the moon near you. Anyway.
We'll get to the book. It's baby steps.
promise.
It's baby steps.
All right. So yeah, let's get on into the book that you had to describe to your bell choir at church.
Yes. Oh my God.
So
it's just funny explaining the title to anyone, and I'm never in a location where like it's appropriate. It's never like I was at a church or. I was giving a private lesson, and the students right there, and it's like this little fifth grader, and mom's like, "Oh, okay, well, what book are you reading?" And I'm like, "Well, the Bad-ass Librarians of Timbuktu," and what people, it's a catchy title, but the writing inside does not reflect the title.
It didn't.
No.
It didn't. I was really super looking forward to this book because like I said, my friend who's a pastor, I told him, I was like, well, I'm thinking of reading this one for like our nonfiction genre. And he was like, my wife read that book. She loved it. And so I was super, because I talk books with this guy all the time. I was super hyped on it. And I was just, I didn't even look, I didn't look at reviews. I didn't read anything about it. I just wanted to go into the book blind, and I was super excited to do it. But I didn't want to come out and say like I liked it or I didn't like it, because I did that with the first quarter book, which you were here for as well, The Lost City of the Monkey God.
Uh-huh.
And when you, me, and Alana were talking about it,
You, Alana, and I.
you, Alana, and I know.
Okay.
Once I said it, I knew.
Just let me know. Just let me know.
So,
And we're down to just me because our other guest has also died. That's so
I'm
weird.
done.
It's so weird.
hi, it's just me and,
It's just-
go dog go, this time. So, but and once the three of us were talking about it, I realized I liked the book more than I had originally said. And I was like, oh, well, now that I'm talking about it, I like it a lot more. And I remembered more, and it's because I read it very early in the quarter, and I did not get a chance to go back to it and refresh too much. But this
I found
one,
it helpful with that one to listen to it. I mean, I
Yeah, you
listened to
listened
it
to it
once.
twice.
I almost got through the second time. I got up until I think the final 2 chapters. I got to where he was in the hospital and going over the dripping and everything with the leishmaniasis.
Yeah, that was-
But I didn't finish the second. But yeah, it was much easier to get a grasp on the second
yeah,
time.
well, because there's a lot of characters. And it's just
Yeah,
like there's a lot
just
of
like
characters
this.
in this
Oh my
one.
God.
It would
Just like-
probably be helpful for me to go back through this one a second time as well. But
Yeah.
I finished it about like halfway through the quarter. There are a couple moments of it that did stick out to me, but the badass part was condensed to maybe like 2 chapters. And it was like, well, this is what they did, and I was expecting like this high adventure.
Because when you were saying
details.
yeah, like when you were saying, give it a little bit, because I remember reading chapter 1 and I'm like, because I remember listening to it.
Yes.
Just listening to chapter 1. I don't know if it was the guy's voice that annoyed me the most, but I'm just like, I can't.
Did
I'm
you
almost
speed it up?
Well, this was I listened to it, and then when we got home from Montana, that's when you said in it.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that would help, but when I started reading it on my own, it's just like, okay, come on, we need this badassery to kick in. We need stuff to kick in.
Because the part that I liked and was getting better was when they were collecting the books, and I really liked that part. And they were talking about Mama Hydra, who's going through collecting the books, how important it is.
Is
for
that how
the
you
family.
pronounce it?
Yeah.
Because I was like
Hydra.
Haida. I was like, I kept thinking Hydera.
Yeah, I think.
But it's Hydra. But you just
Hydra.
but you just
Hydra.
okay. You just
Yeah, with the
combine
accent,
it.
it's Hydra. But
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So like, think of what is it? Red Skull, Hail Hydra.
Okay.
But with the accent,
With
it's
the-
Hydra.
no.
So, don't actually hail Hydra, but Captain America. So, but yeah, I really enjoyed learning how the collection came to be, and some stuff in the beginning. And then after that, I stopped listening to it for a while because it was becoming kind of a slog. If you listen to it on audio, I highly recommend just bumping up the speed once, because the guy's voice is very dry. He does a great job. He pronounces everything really well. He does a really great job at the names and all of that.
Yeah. And it was definitely just one of those books where
That's helpful to
yeah,
hear
because
it.
I remember like I had my phone beside me, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to look up the word peeing. I'm thinking of somebody who is peeing, and I'm reading it like they're using the word peeing next to music, and I'm like, what are they, like peeing on music? And I'm like, let me look up this word. It's talking about as it pertains collectibles and things like that. And I'm like, oh, so I know one thing that I really enjoyed was, I mean, with what I got to read. This guy's vocabulary is amazing. His sentence flow. I mean, every sentence was almost like two or three lines long almost. I mean, he had so much to say, but some of the words I just haven't seen in forever.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a minute. But that's one thing that I regret. So I will at some point barrel through this, whether I listen to it or take it out from the library again, because just to see what else he comes up with.
Yeah, I mean, he writes very well, and like I said, I did not look at the physical copy, and you said the end they break down.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I really I don't think I have seen. I mean, I've seen glossaries, index table of contents, all that stuff, but never one where like they break down. And it's mainly quotation. So, like, just for an example, like chapters 18 through 19 into the epilogue, you can see. Am I allowed to do that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thanks, Vanna. For example, I don't know. They might not even be able to see it. I have no idea. But you can basically, it's like highlights of each. Oh, sorry. I need to do that on my own. No one told me to raise the book. I totally knew that on my own.
He's good like that.
But like, there's a breakdown of each chapter. So basically, if you think of it like ESPN, it's like a highlight reel. So
I like that.
That's what I mean. I enjoyed that because there was a quote that I couldn't find that I really liked because like what our country's going through with the presidency and as we observe Trump, I remembered reading it, like, where is it? And when I saw that in the back, it's actually in one of the highlights.
It's right there.
Yeah, it's one of the highlights of chapter 8.
What quote was it?
It's the inaction, hold on. Oh, it's on page 111.
So this is
that's
the
my
benefit.
No.
Oh, that's funny.
You're good. So the level of inaction at the presidency was akin to firefighters deciding to sleep through alarm bells at the firehouse. So it's like deciding whether, like, how some people, perceive, Trump as, he's only wanting to fight when this happens, or he only wants to do this, or, the people with the hurricane, they're fine, and that sort of thing. So it was just interesting how some of the things, like, obviously when he wrote this, Trump wasn't thinking of stuff like that. But just how some of the quotes in here can just pull from one thing to another.
Because this is a fairly new book. It's only a few years old, but still was before our climate had shifted so much. I'll just leave it at that. So, and one of the parts that stuck out to me that really stuck with me when we're going down that, like, things shifting and changing is there's Mama Hydra's son, which I think they just called
Abdul?
Hydra.
I know. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. So
I can look it up.
Well, there
were so many names.
Because it was after the collection had been amassed, and there was a white scholar, a white gentleman that came to see the collection.
Was it Chad Wall?
I think so. Yeah. But but because it was in the first half of the book, first quarter of the book, I believe, and he was talking about he was raised that black people don't have nothing to do with literature. They can't understand literature. They can't write literature. And that Hydra was like, well, let me show you something. So he took out all of these books that were written by people of color, and the guy was just so overcome with emotion that he was like, I can't even believe it. Like, I was raised to think this way, and you're showing me proof that this isn't. And that just shows to me that, like, hatred and racism is taught. It's not inherent.
It's 100%.
Yeah, it is not inherent. It is taught.
Teach for a couple of days, and you will, like, the kids that, the difference between, like a child that is introvert versus that that kid that's just like that's mine. You got to go away, or you can't be over here because you're different. Yeah, that's 100%. Yeah, that's not. Yeah, that's not just I'm going to wake up and be a little mother. No, it's. Yeah, it's unfortunately it's a learned behavior.
But I thought that part of the book was really cool. And what else was neat was the scholar didn't question. He wasn't like no. He was open-minded, and he said, "Well, teach me more." Mm-hmm. And so that was really neat that he could make that shift from this is what I was taught growing up to oh wow, well I want to learn, which is great. And I thought that's a great lesson. That's one of the part of the book that really stuck with me. And I liked when they're amassing the collection, they're trying to, and then it comes to what was supposed to be the badass part, which I was really disappointed in.
Yeah.
I was very sad about.
I kept waiting, and then it's just okay.
Well, and it's like I said, it's condensed so much down to just a couple short chapters about how they had to get the books out. Now, it by no means diminishes what they did, but describing it in the book, it just doesn't seem like all of it was, like all the detail was given. Like I was waiting for the mass amount, I was waiting for the detail to be put in that part that was put into the collection of the collecting of the library. So.
Well, I mean, and it's just like with Lost City, they get there and they go into there's like little bits of details of everything, but you want to know more about the artifacts, and there's this tension with the snake, and then all of a sudden it's just over, and then it's just like, I want to hear more about these snakes that can apparently like eat people, and these monkeys that like pee on you while you're sleeping. Like let's so yeah.
Well, I think and the hard part about nonfiction is that the author can only has so much to go off of.
Yeah, you can't just add space aliens.
Right. So he only has the details he has. He only has the information he has, and he only has the interviews that they have, or she doesn't. So
yeah, equality, Sam. Even though you're out of the kitchen right now, you are allowed to. You're an intricate part.
Oh, thank you so much.
We appreciate you to stop baking and doing laundry to come.
I need to do laundry.
That's not one.
I'm just kidding. So, he's a jerk. So
Make
anyway.
sure I look at the camera when you said that.
So anyway, I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, the problem with nonfiction is you only have what you have, and the detail could be lacking just based on information you do or don't have. And like you said, the author just writes these really great sentences.
Oh my gosh, some of his
author's wonderful.
Yeah, the intricacies of some of his sentences are absolutely wonderful, and I mean just some of the I made sure I wrote it down because I knew I'd forget it. He wrote metastasizing, just words that I haven't heard, in forever. Peeing, never heard. I mean, never heard of that word, and just I like the style of the way that he writes. I think it's, for me, I'm not very good with names. So, and I've been pronouncing them wrong the entire time. Because I was thinking, I would never have thought of Hydra. I was thinking like Hadera, 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 Hader. I was thinking of all these different possibilities that the name, and I still wasn't right. But all these different names in here. But my favorite, Gillian Vilavanovich is still my favorite one.
It just rolls off the tongue.
It just rolls off the tongue, and it's not But just, he has so much information in this that I think that's what would draw me away from a book like this. It's not the style that he's writing, because he's writing nonfiction. He has to do what he has to do, but just all the different with the name and everything's so close together. If you take away the opening and the epilogue, is it even? I don't even think you reach 200 pages. If you take out the prequel, the prologue, and then the epilogue, I don't think it reaches. It might just reach 200, or it might be a little less. So it's like, how do you do all of that? But like you said, it's hard to go off of nonfiction, because you can't just say like this badass bear came to attack the badass librarians. There was a badass battle in the badass woods of Timbuktu. the badass lands. Like you can't really do that.
That's true, and that's I always hesitate to say I don't like a nonfiction because I always learn something, and even if it's dry, it is nonfiction, and depending on the topic, I was trying to pick like exciting topics, but I don't read the books beforehand, so I'm right there with you guys, so I'm picking them based off of the title, reputation, sometimes reputation of the author, and
what other, do you
the description of the book.
Is Josh Hammer? Does he have? I didn't even look to see how many books he's written. Has he written a lot?
I would have to look up. You know what?
I didn't know
I would
if he
have
was.
to look up what else he's written, but Joshua Hammer is the author, so I'd have to look up what else he's written because I am not sure. But I go based off of description. But the problem with descriptions is the description for the book is written by a publication, by marketing, by a marketer to sell the books. So sometimes you don't know what you're going to get. So
like a box of chocolates, even though you know exactly what you're getting because you're buying the box.
Well, not all of them have that map in it to tell you what it is. So you really don't know.
You know.
It's caramel.
He knew.
But because you always learn something, but I have to listen to nonfiction because as much as
that's what I'm noticing as I get older. Like I can appreciate this and I can appreciate what he, his style and what he's done. But man, if it's something that's like I'm not already in, like if it's a sports novel, I can fight through it. I don't need it to be on audio. This is a type of book, just for personal opinion, that this style of nonfiction and the genre that it's covering, I would definitely say if it's not one of your strong suits, listen to it on audiobook first. That way, and see if you like it that way. And take Sam's suggestion and take it at, was it 1.25?
Yeah, 1.25 is
just a click faster than the normal because the narrator is very clear, very articulate, but just a personal thing.
It's
just
very
to me,
slow.
Very dry and slow.
Because it's been a big year for me for nonfiction, not just for Quarterly Book Club, but I've been reading a lot of nonfiction or listening to a lot of nonfiction. If it gets too textbooky, my brain just checks out. My eyes will see the words, but I'm not absorbing anything. Yeah. So when I listen to it, it's much, much better. Whereas a fiction, I can read and be engrossed in it. And I have a harder time listening to fiction because I like to put the voices in my head.
Yes, I will definitely agree with that.
So I have listened to fiction on audio, and some I like, some I'm like, oh, I wish I would have read this. So it just, at your own risk. But nonfiction I pretty much have to listen to, otherwise I'm just not going to absorb it. And that has nothing to do, that's not a knock on anyone, it's just how I learn. And, so you just take that individually. And, but yeah, this one, there were definitely parts that I really enjoyed. And I was like, this is cool, this is fun.
When I skipped ahead a little bit and I got to some of the later parts, when I read that 4,202 manuscripts have been burnt, I was just like, oh man, because when I started to get to the numbers, I'm like, oh crap, and I got to read why. And the guy, when he was explaining how was it Al Qaeda the gasoline that they put on it, and how they were explaining the guy who was setting the match down, and I got it, and I was like, then I got really mad that I didn't get through all of it because I'm like, man, right there, I just tensed up because I'm thinking because I was thinking of going back to what I did read with the type of manuscripts that they were putting in there, and I'm like, oh my God, no.
So important to their history and culture.
No. And then again, it goes on explaining all that. It's just gone. This is another one of his one or two or three sentences, a little comma. You read it like, no, comma, gone.
Yep. And you're like, oh.
No, Inferno, that's what it was. Comma, Inferno. Like, no.
Well, and it's so sad. Recently this year I reread Fahrenheit 451.
I've never read that.
I have not read that in many years. I can't promise that I even finished it the first time because in school I don't like to be told what to read. I've always been...
I do what I want.
Pretty much.
I wrote 9 gangs. I do what I want.
I've always been a reader ever since I can remember. I've always been reading. But as soon as I'm assigned a book, there's some books I still haven't read. I never read To Kill a Mockingbird.
I've never read a Kill.
Oh, yay! I'm not the only one. But I don't like being told what to read. So Fahrenheit 451 comes around. Can't promise that I finished it, when I was younger. But listening to it now, it was... incredible. I've read it and I've listened to it on audio. The audio is actually really good. It's only 5 hours long too, so I recommend that one. But they're both really good. And the burning of books, it just makes me so sad. But this, what else I learned with this was, I lost it. My train totally derailed.
Well, let's use it. Was it later in the book? Because if it's based off a quote, I guarantee it's probably. I mean, I'm not even kidding. Like it's like I love like this is the stuff that I geek out on. Was it? It's all organized and you've got the page number and everything. Like it's great for reference.
Yeah, well, yeah, because you're saying you had your phone while you're reading, and then
I mean, it doesn't give you the definition of the word, but as far as like, what was that quote from? You can pretty much figure it out.
It's really nice. I might have to pick up a physical copy of this then because that is really nice because you learn a lot. Oh, I remember what I was going to talk about. Okay, so it was really nice.
My God. You should do one of these at Stacy XXX. Just one.
Oh my God! So what I read, I didn't read because I listened.
I'm thinking about colors.
I love to memorize colors. Oh, a dog! Hi, you're fuzzy.
So anyway.
That'd be a fun episode. Do like a character.
Oh gosh, what character would you do?
I would do Georgie. Oh my God!
Oh my God!
There'd just be two women here shooting the shit, letting our clits breathe. Doing all that. Let's leave our boobs out. Just
flopping around. Flopping around in the wind.
Sorry, I always forget what this is rated.
Whatever.
Okay. Flapping our lips, just lip flapping. Mouths and other mouths.
We'll just blur it out. It would be really funny if we blur out the mouth that's cursing, but we keep the word. Producer's like, yeah, that's funny.
Yep.
So, so what I was interested to learn was that how recent this book is. Mm-hmm. This is up until now. I was thinking, because when I was telling
It
our
only came
producer
out a
about
couple
the book,
years ago, didn't it?
Well, but I mean the timeline of the book.
Oh,
The
okay.
timeline of the book is like current history.
Oh, yeah, because I remember 2000, did it say 2016?
Yeah, this is current history. This is just a couple years ago. Or up through just a couple years ago. But I was thinking this book, and based on the cover, sorry guys, but face it, we kind of judge books by the covers. It happens. So, but looking at it, I was thinking maybe this was like 1700s. I thought this was like history, so...
Well, when I first looking at the title, there was a TV show. I don't know if it's still on. I don't know what the name of it is, but there are librarians that are doing something. They're like, I don't know what they're doing. But I know there's a girl librarians and then there's this guy, and I remember only seeing a preview, but like something is happening in one of the library, and they're all like coming together. It's almost like they're like the Marvel superheroes of the library world.
Oh, fun.
And so when I read the Bad-ass Librarians of Timbuktu, I'm imagining people, librarians in Timbuktu, that are like, and I'm imagining.
I was picturing monks.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm thinking, stereotyping. I understand. I'm thinking of like
I did the same thing.
Girls with glasses and buns, and I'm thinking of guys with bow ties and vests, and like all of a sudden, like it's almost like the camera might just do like they go into a phone booth, like Clark Kent does, and then they come out and they're all like badass, ready to, tell people to be quiet, or whatever they're doing, like put that book away, but be quiet about it.
Don't sneeze in the book. Use a tissue.
But that's what I'm thinking. Like they're fighting, and like not only and almost like Indiana Jones, like they're smart, but they can like
smart.
But they can like whip you, or I don't know, hit. I'm sorry.
Hit you with a book.
I'm sorry.
The back of that.
Like they have like combat training.
This is what happens when we don't have a third person here. We've been friends for a little while now, so it's like,
book.
There's
but
a book here.
That's what I mean. But when you were talking about, not wanting to get too much insight on the book based off of what the title and everything. I mean, that's what I was thinking was librarians that are, they're taking some sort of taking charge, and you insert what what you would want the plot to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was thinking old history, like very very old,
Oh yeah, because
Yeah, so I was thinking
I'm
old
gonna say-
history.
I mean-
I did not realize how modern
especially
this
with
history
manuscripts.
was.
Yeah.
And that it made me even sadder to know that that's, I mean, of course we read about it in the news and stuff like that, but when it's presented to you so wholly in a book, it just kind of is like, oh my gosh, that's like, this is happening right now. Books are being burned, libraries are being attacked, histories are being wiped out.
Oh yeah, especially if they
And,
don't like what's in it, especially if the truth's in there. I mean,
like this other book that I'm listening to right now is Prince in His Palace. It's the story of Saddam Hussein during his time in capture up until he was hung.
okay.
And so, I mean, he was wiping people out and cultures and anything he didn't agree with. So, but that's actually a really interesting read. That one's pretty. And on my way here, actually, yeah, on my way to this recording, I was listening to one of my favorite podcasts.
Oh my God, I have no idea. This is where she's like, he's such a dick.
Oh, God. Why did I do this?
Where's my third person?
God. Sick 'em. But listening to one of my favorite podcasts, and this girl is from Cambodia, and her parents had escaped like the genocide that was happening there, and they were hunting, killing, murdering intellects, people who could read, and her father was a doctor, so they escaped before he was able to be killed, but not before like his wife was killed, and parts of people, like some of his children were murdered.
How recent was?
I mean, that's, see, she was, like right now she's in her early 20s, so this was like a generation ago.
Okay.
So not that long ago.
No, I didn't think it
At
was.
all. But yeah,
I was
so
thinking
this is,
I mean,
yeah, like 60s, 70s, up until the, I mean, I don't know what's happening. I don't know the timeline of the Cambodian conflict, but yeah, so they were hunting down intellects and killing them and taking books away. It's just
yeah.
it just, I don't know, like knowing, I don't know, it just kind of hit me in this story from beginning to end, like the collecting, and everyone's so proud of this library. They're so proud of this collection. They're so proud of their heritage. And just to have someone, just because they don't like something, just take it all away.
And it goes back to the, when you were describing like stuff that's learned, like that hatred and stuff. Yeah, it's just.
Well, now that we've bummed everybody out, give me a couple seconds of Georgie Schlatt describing the book.
Oh, Georgie wouldn't read this.
Well, give me Georgie giving a synopsis.
Okay. Well, I would say if you're going to read this book, you might want to start with, what's your favorite type of wine?
I like a good Cabernet.
I would say drink a Cabernet because you're going to want to be drunk as fuck because that does not start out very well. I believe my co-host when she says that it starts to pick up a little bit in the middle, and then it's just depressing at the end. So I'd say the more drunk you are, but cognitive drunk, because you gotta have to remember some. The more drunk you are, the better.
So,
unless you like this sort of thing.
If you're wondering why we're doing these voices, we are part of a show that is part of the IABD Presents network, which is Radio Hour. Stacy XXX is from Porn Star Detectives, which you can listen to now on iTunes.
Oh my gosh, first year of Porn Star, you will pee your pants listening to it.
Georgie Schlatt is a TV show host, so it does a lot of our commercials. So take a look. Pay attention on Tuesdays.
I'm not as good as Porn Star Detectives. No. That's what's more important to listen to. That shit's funny right there.
Thank you.
So that's what that's from. So go listen to it. It's really funny, I promise. But yeah, so would you recommend this?
I would recommend it to somebody that I know that would enjoy it. Like I have a couple of friends that I know would enjoy this book, especially not only are they big history buffs, but they're I mean, especially if you enjoy like the culture it's about, because when you read it, I mean, you're not talking about like a lot of Americans and things like that. You're talking about other people, other cultures, and I have a couple of friends that I know that would really appreciate it. But I wouldn't recommend it lightly unless they. I mean, I would say and like I was saying earlier, make sure that when you're recommending it. suggest the audio first, just so they can get a taste of it.
Pronunciation and stuff like that.
But it's I know that it is written very well. So if you put the time into it, they'll get something out of it. But it's just to sit down and actually have that happen.
Is this something you would have picked up by yourself?
No.
Are you happy that you are here with me?
I'm happy that I'm here with you. I can appreciate the book. Obviously, this isn't something that Josh Hammer that he put together in a day. Like you can't do a nonfiction book. I mean, you shouldn't do a nonfiction book and base it all off of BS and not have your facts. Mm-hmm. So when you read it, you will obviously know. I mean, the effort that he put into it, the resource that he has used. I have no doubt that people can appreciate it, but I don't know how many people will, unless they like the genre, are going to just throw it to the side after the first 20 pages.
I think nonfiction authors have a very tough job. And
I
think they have to know that their job is kind of thankless. Mm-hmm. So thank you to all you nonfiction authors and writers and storytellers out there who do so much work. Because even if it might not be someone's cup of tea, it's just so much work goes into that. So Thank you guys for our entertainment, and so we can entertain others. So you were here for quarter 1, which was Lost City of the Monkey God. Mm-hmm. Which one did you like better, that or
that one?
That one?
That one.
Cool.
Just because I mean, even though I wanted Monkey God, I wanted it to go a lot further than it did. It kind of left, I would say both kind of left me pissed off, because it's talking about like, oh, Leash is in Texas, and this is as of this date, and it's kind of spreading, and there really isn't much of a cure, and we've got this that we can do, we've got this drug, and we got this drug, but you're fucked. But thoughts and prayers.
As long as it's in
and
a tweet.
Well, if only 40% of people actually make it through stage 1, and if you do, all the hallucinations, what is it? You have the thing for like 8 hours a day.
The IV drip.
Yeah, it's like 8 or 10 hours a day. You've got that going in for 6 or 7 days, and if you live, and if you survive the hallucinations, the burning, and all of this, you can move on to the next step. But if not, you get the B drug, which is like going from a steak to like rocks, like literally eating rocks. It's like, yeah, you can swallow them, but you're basically screwed.
Yeah.
And then just reading about how all the effort that went into trying to save the manuscripts, and how
floating them down the river.
And just the part with his wording of the gasoline and just lighting everything. That's what as far as relating the two, just having that ending of just being pissed. I would say the two are one and the same.
Cool. Well, I also think that those two, because they're pretty new books, just out within the last couple of years, and they're about modern history and things that they are finding now. Mm-hmm. Well, modern history and stuff that's coming to light now in modern time. Is that we're almost set up for like a part 2 of each of those stories. If another book came out for another section, would you read them or listen to them?
This one I would have to go over again. I would say yes for Lost City, no contest, just to see how Nick. Oh wait,
I forgot the name. I'm awful with names.
Well, the first one that popped on my head was like Lashivido, shot from Defending Jacob.
Oh yeah.
Lapisha, John
That was a good book too.
LaPrivy, I don't know. Anyway, that's the name that started popping to my head. And was it Andy?
Yes,
maybe that's Andy. To hear like Andy's consorts.
By Douglas Preston was the author. Sorry.
Of
Lost City of the Monkey God. Oh, he was just, our producer showed it to me.
Oh, okay.
No, he wasn't talking about the author. He was talking about the main character.
Sorry, the main character. Thank you, sir. But that's because him contracting the disease and the rest of his team. Like at the end, you find out little information about the team, but there isn't like one of those types of books where it's like set up for another one, not like, hey, do you want to go back? ... Question mark.
Like a TV show would do.
Silent mic drop, and this is all written out, by the way. It's just a silent mic drop.
Yeah.
But there isn't anything like that. So I would definitely be interested in a sequel to that, just to see not only the characters, but like, will there be any new characters? Would they? Where did they go? I know. I'm so sorry. The jungle, not Haiti. Where did they go? They went to. Anyway, they go somewhere, and it's very exotic, and it's new, and
It's a jungle, but I'm forgetting.
Yeah, I know. I'm
name.
so sorry to Douglas Preston. You did great. But anyway, yes, the return back. I would be interested in reading that. This one, like I said, I would have to. Now, if it was a sequel on how they maybe like trying to get back at those things that were burned, or they may be or trying to preserve
More
another type of
badassery.
Yeah. More detailed badasseriness. Dang it. Metastasizing. God, I know, it's just a fun word, but I can't remember. Anyway, I'd be more inclined to find out with this one, if there's a second one, to know what the plot would be like. Would it be trying to preserve more artifacts, or, going after those who have almost like vendetta sort of thing?
Yeah, cool.
So,
I like it.
what about you?
I would definitely.
That's the first question I've asked in like the 3 I've done. I don't think I've ever asked you a question.
No.
What would
Selfish
you?
Jerk. No, I'm just kidding. So I would definitely read a second Lost City of the Monkey God. That would be really interesting. I think, and I agree with you. This is pretty well wrapped up. I think it would have to be years would pass before a second one would come out, because this is all unfolding right now. Whereas Monkey God, it's history that they are unraveling. So it's just slightly different drivers.
Congo? No.
No, it wasn't in the Congo.
Gotta go
It
back.
was in South America.
Yes. Okay, that helps. Keep going.
I can't remember the name of the city because I'm terrible. with
City
that
of the
kind
Monkey
stuff. Well, duh.
La Ciudad Blanca. Sorry.
He's just gonna blow out our
that's me
audio.
right there.
Yep.
Those little waves just went. Sorry, Ryan. Okay.
So I'll get you one. They make bracelets and necklaces that have audio waveforms. I'll just get your scream,
Oh.
and that's gonna be. And you're, like when we're performing a radio hour and something is really funny, he goes. Just,
Or like when Sam tries to read a poem but she can't do it. It's really funny. Really great. Sorry. So.
we did a poem and
No.
it had naughty words
No.
in it, and he was my bleeper, and we had to do it live, and it was really funny.
You had lots
and
of practice and you ruined it, but it's okay.
I will not punch you on
I
camera.
will not use my bone for violence. I will not use my bone for violence.
That's what
That's
he
what-
said. So now comes the time when I present you with your prize for coming back. This is our quarter floor book, which I'm super excited about.
Does it say medical oddities? What?
Yes! It's Quackery, a brief history of
Oh
worst
my
ways to cure
God!
everything.
Oh!
So, yeah, flip through that. I'm really excited about this one. Because it's not like a story like this one is. It's just a bunch of information
Oh my
and
God!
fun oddity
Yes.
things.
Oh, weapons. Oh, surgery tools. Oh, Ryan would like this too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's like, yeah, definitely.
Heyo.
I'm gonna give Melissa a copy. It's a nice, this is a nice book.
Yeah.
So Nathan's gotten so many free books from me. Thank goodness I get maybe reimbursement. I'm just kidding. But yeah,
Thank goodness you put out to whomever. Someone's really happy. Oh.
Anyway.
Sorry.
No,
we're
you're
on this
fine.
book. We're on this book. Sorry. We're on
No, we've moved on to the new
Oh,
one.
thank God. Okay. We're on the new. Okay. Lobotomies.
So, Quackery, a brief history of the cure. A brief history.
Am I doing it right?
Quackery, a brief history of the worst ways to cure everything. I always forget how to say the tagline. So yeah, medical oddities, weird
neat.
things, ways they tried to cure things in the past.
Well, I mean, kind of like when you've got. I mean, I'm trying to think of all the different bacterial illnesses where like leeches. Mm-hmm. Like that's what I'm
leeches,
thinking. So when I'm thinking of worst ways to cure things, I'm thinking of of the leashes, or
Radium was used to try to cure things before they knew it was bad.
starvation and dehydration.
Electroshock therapy when that first came out. The ice dunking.
Doing a book review with Sam. I mean, all these things that are just torture. Animal magnetism. Oh, new word. Well, not a new word, but metastasizing. What? Metastasizing. This is going to be fun. I'm going to enjoy this one. I could read this one and not have to worry about an audiobook. I can tell already.
Yeah, I got the physical copy of this one too. I'm very excited.
Heyo.
I don't even think a audiobook would exist.
But this is a lot. So I won't be writing a song for this one, right? Because I already have one popping up in my head. But that's
you will not be writing the music for this one.
Okay.
That'll be this is our fourth quarter book, so that means 2019. We're gonna have a new genre, 4 new books, and Nathan is going to do new intro and outro music, but we don't know what it's gonna be yet. So there's gonna be voting. That's gonna happen in December. I'm kind of hoping for romance, so Nathan has to write a romance.
Oh, I can write romance. I'm not gonna. Oh God, I don't know if I can read romance. Can I change it to bromance?
Yeah. Actually, there's a whole genre of Amish romance that I did not know existed, and I keep running into these books. So I'm
my God.
The book gods are telling me something. Aw, Nathan found the sex parts.
How is an orgy with 300 people a worst way to cure something? Let's find out. We'll find out. If you want to know the answer, read the book.
Yeah, there you go.
See what I did there?
You're
so welcome, Lydia Kang, MD, and Nate Peterson.
Is he an MD too?
No, he's just a
See,
guy.
Lydia's better than he is.
Do what? It's probably, yeah. I'm for equality. You're the one that's like, oh, and girls too. I mean, it's documented. You're a sexist, egotistical, lying, hypocritical bigot. It's in there. That's one of my favorite girl movies. 9 to 5, chick flick, one of my favorites.
Working 9 to 5.
One of my favorites.
I used to watch that movie with my mom all the time. That was a good one.
I love it. That Fried Green Tomatoes.
I'd never seen that one.
You never seen Fried Green Tomatoes?
No.
You'd love it. Absolutely love it.
You've told me that before. I need to watch it.
It's a wonderful movie.
It's on my list.
There's parts that you're going to hate, and there's parts that are going to make you... Well, I haven't cried.
That's based off a book, isn't it?
If it is, I've never read it. It's a movie from the late 80s. If it's 90s, it's early 90s. I think it's late 80s, early 90s. Kathy Bates. What's her name? One of the other main characters. I mean, sorry, I'm blanking on it. But, I mean, just a wonderful, wonderful cast. But we're getting off track.
So, do you have any books that you would recommend to our watching and listening audience?
Based off the past couple months, no. I have been gone the past couple months as far as distractions. That's why I was happy to at least do that one, because what I like about this is it forces me to read something, to do something. And
that's why you're back so often. You volunteer for every.
To me, it's really fun because I miss reading, and I'm forcing myself to do more audio listening to books, just because of all the traveling that I have to do. Mm-hmm. So, but as far as books to recommend, I mean, I'll always recommend Ready Player One. I thought that was wonderfully written. But again, it's more of a video game fiction book. So as far as this year, nonfiction-wise, the only nonfiction one I can think of, I can't remember the title, and I know that's the whole purpose.
It doesn't have to be nonfiction, just anything you like that you think. So if someone out there identifies with you and your personality,
okay, I didn't know if that had to do with nonfiction or not.
No, just any book that you would recommend.
So as someone, Ready Player One I thought was excellent. I would read the book before watching the movie, because I think if you watch the movie and then read the book, you're going to be more upset than if you read the book first, get all your hopes up, and then watch the movie. You'll be like, oh, okay, well, that's kind of expected that they like take some stuff out. Or the fact that they base everything in Columbus and not Oklahoma, or the fact that the guy isn't fat and he gets thin later, and the girl apparently has just a tiny birthmark. You know, I have not seen the movie. I'm only basing it off of what I've been told, but I'm getting a head nod that I am not completely wrong.
I've already told you will not like the movie.
Yeah. But I would definitely, and it's unabridged, so which means that the audiobook is the same as the book, correct? Isn't that what it means? As unabridged?
Unabridged just means that it's a single author as opposed to a cast.
Oh, I thought it meant it was read the same. It said the same as it was read.
I never knew the definition of unabridged.
Okay, so we're going to cut that
Thank you,
last part
Ryan.
out. Thank you. And he said it to where he could have made me feel stupid, and he didn't. That's very professional.
he's very
him.
nice. He's
He's
a
very
nice
professional.
guy.
What he's thinking and what he said are two different
Yes,
things.
absolutely.
Because Nathan is an idiot.
Oh, you're not.
But anyway, it's read by Will Wheaton.
I thought he did a good job. I liked his
I thought he did
audio.
it. Yeah, there were some. Obviously, when you're going to always think that they did. I've noticed as I'm listening to audiobooks, there's always something that you'd be like, oh, I bet they could have said it differently. But you're listening to somebody else's mind. You're listening to someone else's interpretation. If you don't like that sort of thing, then I would say get the book and come up with your own voices for the different characters. But I thought that was an excellent book. I would still recommend Lost City of the Monkey God. I would still recommend the Bad-ass Librarians if that's something that, if you're interested in that genre. Lost City is more about the architectural side and just the side of new discoveries. Not building off of a discovery somebody else has, but literally almost going into nothing and not knowing what to expect. It's like, yeah, you can kind of expect this, but then...
And the new technology that they had to use
Oh my
and come up
gosh,
with
the,
to find
yeah.
it was really cool.
The different lasers, the scopes, and just as far as Neil having all those pictures and then just gone.
That's hard. Like, I was a photographer in the military, and I've had something like that happen when
military
you upload.
underwater.
And, yes, on the water. I was not on a submarine that is under the water, but
You're good. You're good.
So that's terrifying.
Oh, and
And
especially if it's your livelihood.
We were able to recover our photos, but to have them just gone and not recovered, like, that makes my skin crawl and my heart stop a little bit.
Yeah.
That's so I can only slightly imagine how he felt. And that being a brand new discovery, a brand new place, never been before, all these photos, just, I would cry.
Especially if you didn't back them. Like, it's one thing to be like, oh, okay, my phone is gone, but I've got everything back on my computer. I just get a new phone, hook everything up, bada bing, bada nope.
Couldn't do that with that. Oh, how heartbreaking.
Nope. Yeah.
So, are there any
other than those three, the one that I'm thinking of, it's a great document. It's a not great documentary on FIFA and just all the stuff that goes on behind, especially when they went to Qatar. Just all the the illegal things going on to get them there, with money, with the lying, the stuff that you don't think about when you're watching it. I know it's been out within the past few years. I just can't remember the one word people want, and that's the title.
Do you know the author?
No. I'm so sorry. I know.
It's okay.
I know. I know. If
it's
it's
fine.
music or numbers, I'm right there. But I just suck. But yes. So I'm sure if you type that into Google, the cover's white and it's got a soccer ball. Sorry. I'm so sorry.
I think I've seen it in the bookstores.
Yeah, I don't think it's called Goal. But why don't you go? Because I've ruined the last 5 minutes. Maybe 10.
Oh, man. Okay, so I'm just going to say, you've been on the show a few times, which I really appreciate, and I know we'll see you a lot more. So you've gotten a chance to sort of know Nathan. If you have any recommendations for him or myself, leave them in the comments below, and let us know what you thought of Bad-ass Librarians of Timbuktu. And hopefully you will join us in Quackery, a brief history of the worst ways to cure everything. So thank you, and goodbye. Again, a very, very big thank you to Nathan for being with us here today. I know he likes coming back. We like having him here, and give him a shout out in the comments for the intro and outro music. And yeah, so thank you for joining us for the Bad-ass Librarians of Timbuktu. I cannot wait to dig into Quackery, a brief history of the worst ways to cure everything. So that's going to be super exciting. It's not like a front to back, like linear story. It's just information on all the cool oddities and things. Probably not cool at the time, but interesting oddities that have come through the years of medicine to get to where we are now. And yeah, looking forward to that. Now, December, we are going to be voting for the 2019 genre. So keep a lookout on our Twitter at IABD Presents, because we're going to be voting there. I might run a couple votes, or a couple like voting sessions. We'll see how it goes, but very excited to do that. And you guys get to pick the next year's genre. Also, you heard Nathan and I do some voices. Please go to IABD Presents. .com, and also go to itsallbeendonradiohour.com and enjoy Radio Hour. We perform live every month at Mad Lab Theater in Columbus, so come check us out. Second Saturday of every month, 5:30 in the evening. We'd love to see you there. And thank you to IABD Presents for hosting my wonderful show here, and I hope you're enjoying it as well. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at IABD Presents. Leave comments here and there and everywhere. We'd love to talk to you. And until next quarter, bye.